Welcome to Claiming Space, a podcast about what it really means to step forward, speak up, and lead with intention. This first season is all about women in leadership, the real stories behind the roles, the challenges, the ambition, and the moments that shape how we lead, sharing honest conversations about leadership as it actually shows up at work. This isn't about perfect answers. It's about insight, reflection, and the courage to own your voice. So whether you're leading others, stepping into something new, or thinking about the space you want to take up, you're in the right place.
Hello, and welcome to the Maynard Leigh Claiming Space podcast. My name is Vic Bryson, and I am talking to female facilitators here at Maynard Leigh about two things that they own. Now, one of those things is an actual thing that's in their house, their car, their wardrobe, or their handbag, something, a physical thing that they love that improves their life and that they want to recommend to other women. The second thing I've asked them to share, however, is not a physical thing at all. It's a piece of wisdom or advice. So they own it in a different way. Again, something they would love to pass on to other women. For any male listeners out there, welcome friends. Today, we may be talking with women at the forefront of our minds, but we are delighted if you're also finding this useful. Okay. My guest today, I'm very pleased, is Sasha Behar. And as well as being a facilitator at Maynard Leigh, she is an actress and a trained counsellor. Sasha, it is lovely to see you. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. I'm delighted.
Before we get into the whole kind of two things I own thing, I have a question for you.
Oh, yes.
What will be the most important thing that you are doing today?
So, everyone must answer the same thing. Going home and checking in with the kids. I've got two daughters, 17 and 20. The 20-year-old is back from university, and it's so lovely to see her. Every time I see her at 2 as well, and then 5, and then 10, then 15, and then 20. And by then I'm in tears. And she goes, "Oh, for God's sake, Mum." But also maybe just 15 minutes. If I could get 15 minutes of quiet time, that I haven't been able to do it recently, and I find I crave it. And that literally means just sitting, closing the door, closing my eyes, and tuning into my breathing and letting everything drop for 15 minutes and seeing what.
Where would you do that?
I mean, I generally think about which is the quietest room in the house. I like a room at the back of the house, which probably means my daughter's room at the top of the house that used to be mine before she arrived. Somewhere quiet. I usually sit on a bed, actually, and put some pillows under my bottom. And 15 minutes really resets me.
That is fabulous. Thank you. We are here to talk about the two things. Oh no, I know you own more than two things, but two of the things more that you own. What are you going to start with? You're going to start with the physical thing or the non-physical thing?
Let's start with the physical thing.
Okay, great. Yeah. What you got for us?
So, it's in the territory of wardrobe, and everybody's probably got the armor that they can't live without. And for me, it is actually, quite specifically, it is the tan wedge sandal. But come winter, I'll have a wedge boot that's just a nice mid wedge, give me some height, but also a lot of comfort, so that I really feel that I could have trainers on. I can move around really easily, but I also just get that little bit of elevation.
Okay, so first of all, I would like paint us a picture. How big is the wedge? How high is the wedge?
So I guess I've done anything from between 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches.
Okay.
It's about my good comfy thing. But if it's a good solid wedge with the platform underneath, there's lots of where it's hitting the ground. You're looking at I'm
looking at your sandals. Yeah.
There we go.
You've got a lovely wedge. You're in the said tan wedge sandal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does a wedge do for you?
Yes. So the wedge, as I said, it's comfort and height. Quite often at work, I'm 5 I used to say I was 5'4", but I believe the truth is that I'm 5'3" and probably shrinking as we speak. So I really find, I mean, occasionally I've been known to get on a chair at work to manage rooms when there are a lot of people around me and I'm managing a big room with a lot of people and a lot of men and it's noisy. And as soon as everybody's standing up, I can disappear. So the wedge really just lifts me up above everyone else, gives me I mean, maybe I shouldn't need that. It's true. But I think it's inevitable that there are some advantages. They say there's research, isn't there, that women's voices, we're often encouraged to bring our voices lower, getting the right pitch so it cuts through things. Yeah. A little bit of height just means people can see you better. So inevitably, I facilitate often, so that's going to make a big difference.
So on a really basic level, it's about becoming more visible and more noticeable.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
And the wedge element is this is about comfort, is it, rather than a heel?
Yes, exactly. I can't really wear heels anymore. I feel they're clumpy. I feel a bit sort of unstable and a little bit formal, I think, for me personally. So my wedges are, as I say, it's quite a process finding my wedges at the beginning and end of the summer. The beginning to head into the summer, at the end, in case they're in the sale for next year. Yeah, and it's very specific. I want them to look good, but not be too noticeable, to be really, for me to feel really stable in them. And the tan thing just goes with everything.
Okay.
With every outfit.
Okay. Do we think there is a podcast somewhere with blokes talking about their footwear? And why does this matter? And does it matter?
Yeah, it's a really nice question because I guess I can't be the only woman who's sometimes made to feel ashamed about my interest in my wardrobe, particularly at work. Is it frivolous? Is it vain? Is it a distraction?
Well, it's a thing, isn't it? But we all are. We all put a lot of thought into curating what we wear.
Yes.
And maybe our male colleagues do as well. I don't know. But I don't know. I think we shouldn't be ashamed of this because it tells our story, doesn't it?
Well, also, I think if you look around, I mean, if I think about my partner's wardrobe, who is a man, he doesn't have all that many clothes in there. And the ones that he does have in there are all pretty much different versions of the same thing because he doesn't have to change what he wears very often. He upgrades it a little, he downgrades it. It's a load of blue shirts. Some of them, you might have one in silk and one in cotton, and then something in variations in between. But essentially, it's the same sort of look. Whereas if you think about a woman's wardrobe, the variation across that, the different ways that we present ourselves are many and varied and make a huge difference to how we are received still, unfortunately. And we are still working with how it is we want to be seen and what's going to be most effective. And each of us also brings our individuality to that and is expected to and asked to.
Do you remember there was a story? There were a news couple. They presented the news. There was a man and a woman, and the woman would get emails every day, messages about what she was wearing, the dresses she was wearing. So the man, to prove the point, he wore the same suit, not the same kind of suit, the actual same suit every day for a year, and nobody noticed, nobody commented, and he did it just to illustrate the amount of attention that went on his female colleagues surface what she wore as opposed to his.
Yes.
So we're dealing with that. We're living in that. We're swimming in that water, aren't we?
It's a brilliant story. Yeah, it's true. And then on top of that, we get blamed for being vain. And
and trivial about
our clothes and spending a lot of time online looking for the perfect pair of tan wedges and taking a big suitcase on the plane.
Big suitcases. Men like to rock up with a sort of thing the size of a pocket handkerchief going,
I've got my under the seat in front of them.
Yeah. And I travel heavy. I take a lot. I take a big case. Yeah. Do you think, again, there's a bit of a stigma about, well, we should just be able to whisk ourselves off with a small handbag?
I think there's definitely a stigma. I know I've made it very clear on various occasions that I have this bag. I like to check it in so I can just throw lots of stuff in and not worry about it. And when I get out the other end and I'm not quite sure what I'll need to wear, and it's not just the weather, I'll have a whole range of things. And I also have on occasion been asked, well, I know that you take a big bag, Sasha, so would you mind taking some of the work materials as well? That's not the point of my big bag, okay? And don't make me tell you what's in my big bag. I need it.
So it's a real...
You're going to ask me what's in my big bag.
I'm not going to ask you what's in my big bag. But it is a truth, isn't it? That there is a whole different set of how we are judged for men and women around what we wear and how we curate our appearance.
Yes.
We're not swimming in the same water.
No. I mean, there's a great pressure for us to seem to be the same and to want to be the same. But I guess, what is it? That we're equal, but not the same.
Yeah.
And that's not always acknowledged yet.
Yeah.
It's not always comfortable territory. That.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to move us on to your non-physical thing. We're going to put the wedges back in their box.
No, my wedges. Don't put me from my wedges.
What's the thing that you own in your heart that you want to share with us?
So they're kind of allied, maybe. I mean, it's sort of two things. I'm trying to have two things now. Along with my wedges. So one is, I've really been getting a great deal of relief and pleasure from sitting with the thought that actually it's not an even playing field for men and women.
In the workplace.
In the workplace. I mean, possibly, let's keep it to the workplace. Yes, let's keep it to the workplace. It's not an even playing field. And I know there have been times where I've said that to people tentatively, or I've said it to myself, and it's felt like something restrictive. And in that case, please put it to one side. It's not helpful. But recently I've been finding it really helpful just to acknowledge that maybe it's not yet an even playing field, as we've already been discussing.
Yeah.
There are differences. Differences in the way we're received, differences, physical differences that make it sometimes harder to communicate or be heard, different socialization, structures that have been set up to favor men. And this is not about, I can't bear I think men are also penalized in some ways by all of these structures and systems. So it's not that, it's just acknowledging that what I may have thought was my fault over the years, I'm not getting on as fast, or I'm not being paid as much, or there doesn't seem to be as much of a role. I seem to be finding it takes more energy for me to step up in front of a room than some of my male counterparts sometimes. And then I stop and think, well, the room is largely full of men. So I actually feel much more comfortable, I'm afraid, often in a room full of women. I can stand up in front of a room full of men, and I have my strategies now. But there is again, there's a difference. It feels different, requires a different sort of, for me, attack, energy. I mean, yeah.
So, because I think I think there might be real benefit in naming some of the ways in which it is uneven. So the minority effect. And that does, I mean, the statistics are absolutely there about women being interrupted more, about having their judgment questioned more, about being assumed to be more junior than they are. There is plenty of objective evidence for that. Does the affinity bias that can be going on if we're talking about forming relationships or moving up? Often people in a higher up in an organization, again, you've got even more majority male.
Yes.
So we're countering affinity bias there. There's a whole historical aspect of that. This was a male domain. Lots of industry, not every industry, but lots of it. This was a male domain. So therefore the pictures that people are carrying in their minds of as men as the leaders, men as the experts, men as the people who make things happen.
Yes.
So we're fighting against those sort of subconscious pictures as well. We're judged differently. Absolutely. We are. I think there's something as well about the multiplicity of roles, and that often if you've got you might have a man in the workplace whose domestic life is being managed brilliantly by his partner. And because the domestic is seen as primarily women, we are also carrying that into, not always, but carrying that into what. So actually, we have got more points of focus.
Yes.
Going around for us. Not always, but often.
Yes. And I am not a multitasker. I know women are supposed to be multitaskers at birth, born to be I mean, I am not. I'm not good at it.
Well, I just want to, I think there's I want to agree with you. For me, there is a great relief in knowing it is not an even playing field. It is not a lack in me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I don't then work harder to improve or to spot where my weaknesses are and, as one must and should, or take responsibility. But it just means I'm not punishing myself, which leads to the very last thing I'll say. It was my second piece of what I bring.
It's now three things I own.
Yeah. Things I own.
Snuck another one in.
Yeah. Well, somebody, and it was a woman slightly older than me. She had some weight and authority, and she just looked me in the eye and she just said very directly, stop shaking your head when people give you compliments. Take in the good.
Stop shaking your head when people give you compliments. Take in the good. Okay.
It's not an even playing field. We need to take in the good so we can get back out there over and over again.
That is fantastic. Sasha, thank you so much for sharing two things that you own.
Thank you so much to our host and guest for today's conversation, and thank you for listening to Claiming Space. We hope it's given you something to think about or something to take away with you. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. You can also connect with us and continue the conversation on our social channels. Just search for us and follow along. Until next time, keep claiming your space.